So I'm starting this video with a little white lie. This footage is actually from the way back. The ride there was overcast, a little choppier, and a whole lot wetter. Huracan Dive Lodge was a real treat. Being out by the Blue Hole meant short boat rides to all the dive sites, and there were never any other divers around. This is my second time diving the Mesoamerican Barrier Reef. The first time was over in Roatan. And just like that time, I was a little surprised by the underwater environment. The structure of the reefs were gorgeous. Abundant coral, beautiful walls, cuts, and sand chutes, but what seemed to be missing were the large shoals of small fish. The diving was still fantastic, but it felt a little odd. The silhouette of this loggerhead in the distance was the only turtle I saw the whole time. On the other hand, these were some of the sharkiest dives I've ever been on. Little Caribbean reef sharks were always nearby, patrolling the reef. So about the dive lodge. I stayed for 4 nights and had a wonderful time. If you're looking for a semi-off-grid relaxing stay, I can't recommend it enough. The crew and staff were professional and attentive. The lodge was cozy and comfortable, and overall it was a great experience. Just be sure to go into it with the right expectations. It is an eco-lodge on a remote island. Don't expect air conditioning or hot water. Lights out really means lights out, as the lodge runs on solar and batteries, and the mosquitoes were ferocious. These are boxfish. You find them all over, but usually they're solo or in pairs. This is the first time I've ever seen a whole bunch of them together. There are probably a dozen of them in this one spot. The highlight of this dive was this octopus. He spent time giving me a whole show, flaring out, flashing white warning colors, really trying to intimidate me. He eventually gave up and retreated to his hiding spot. There were a number of fun swim-throughs during this trip, but for some reason I only have footage of this one, which is probably one of the worst. Oh well. As I get older, I seem to be getting more susceptible to the cold. The water was around 80 degrees. My 2.5 mil shorty would have been my go-to in the past, but on this trip I switched over to a 3 mil full on the second day. I guess that's my new normal. We'd run into the occasional tarpon, but nothing like the quantity or size of them in Saba. The second day was a day trip out to Half Moon Caye. This little island was the first marine protected area in Central America, and it's a national park and has a campground and bird sanctuary on it. We spent the day diving, having a cookout for lunch, and checking out the red-footed booby birds. This guy's definitely had some close calls. You can see he has 2 fish hooks still in his mouth. I wonder if there'll ever be a time where garden eels don't make me smile. Nassau grouper are always super friendly and follow you around on dives. Sometimes you can even pet them, although it's kind of hard to film it. If you look closely, you can see the cleaner shrimp inside this grouper's gills, although I felt kind of bad interrupting his spa time. So I was hanging out under the boat, waiting for the rest of the divers, when this large stingray showed up. He was totally uninterested in my presence and went about his day as I slowly approached for a close-up. I will say, I was a little nervous when he started backing up towards me, with the business end of his stinger facing me. They really are like puppies following us around on dives. So this is the Great Blue Hole. Honestly, it's way more impressive from the air. Underwater it just kind of drops off into a less than interesting vol. We dropped down to about 137 feet, and these lobsters were pretty much the only things we saw. So the blue hole is basically a giant sinkhole that formed when the entire area was above water. After the cavern formed, the stalactites grew over the course of 140,000 years. Over the eons, the land sank and the oceans rose, and eventually the entire system was underwater. Below 300 feet, the hole is devoid of life. At that depth, the water contains hydrogen sulfide and is anoxic. At its deepest point, the blue hole is 407 feet deep. While really not that impressive, I'm glad I did this dive. It is unique and otherworldly, but I think once is enough. Thanks for watching, and safe travels to wherever your journey might take you.